All right, guys, I am here for our UFC 326 picks. But before we get into that, as you can see here, we have our UFC Mexico picks. We did actually very good for UFC Mexico last time around. We did have one fucking loss with Brandon Moreno versus what's his name, Loner Kavanaugh. But it is what it is. That shit kind of happens. And Brandon Moreno had a shit performance, and his stock 100% went down. But we did very good, and particularly in our Bobby Green pick. I mean, I didn't even think Bobby Green was going to win that, but apparently he did. Bobby Green, and that was a 4.5x. Everything besides that, besides the Moreno pick, we won everything. But yeah, let's just get right on into this card. So I have to explain every other time how it works is a pick is what you should hypothetically put money on, and a prediction is what I think is just going to happen. And never gamble, right? Because you will lose. This is just for educational purposes. And also, I have made a significant amount of money doing this, right? And our figure with this spreadsheet is not accurate to what how much money we've actually made. It's more of just more of tracking it. Yeah, so let's just get right on into it. Luke Fernandez versus Rodolfo Gelato. I am going to pick Luke Fernandez uh, to beat Rodolfo Gelato. Rodolfo Gelato, he's not that good. He's very basic, and his striking is not very good. He does seem quite chinny, even though he did fake getting knocked out by, what's his name? Fucking. Fuck, Paul Craig. That's a bad look, man. But he did get knocked out on the regional scene twice by both Vitor Petrino, which is not too bad because Vitor Petrino has big power in his hands. But Vitor Petrino is not a very good fighter, to be honest. Whereas Luke Fernandez he's got fast hands and he does look pretty good on the feet. He did look very good. Well, I mean, it was a contender series win and it was also just like a 20-second knockout. But it's fine. Luke Fernandez is gonna like get on the inside, and I don't think Rodolfo Gelato has much against a pressure fighter like Luke Fernandez, who can get on the inside. He has a longer reach, even though he's a little shorter. Get on the inside, start boxing him up, pinging his head back, and I don't know if there's much that Rodolfo Gelato can do from there. I know that Rodolfo Gelato can get the grappling off, and we haven't seen Luke Fernandez's grappling, which is what I'm a little bit scared of. But I'm gonna trust in Luke Fernandez. I think he looked pretty good in just his career so far. Undefeated, pretty much all finishes. Rodolfo Gelato, it's not a good look, man. It's not a good look. But yeah, next, right. So forget. Our pick is Luke Fernandez money line, and our prediction is Luke Fernandez by knockout. Next we have Gaston Bolaños versus Young Lee. I keep forgetting who these Korean people are. I'm gonna be honest with you, just because of their names. Young Lee, like it's always like a three-parter with them, right? Um, and they're all somewhat similar in sound. No offense, but I think this is the guy who's good at grappling, and I'm gonna go with Young Lee. I'm gonna trust him. Korean fighters are good, man. Like even like especially like the featherweights and the bantamweights, even they're just really solid overall, and I do trust Young Lee in the fact that he will outgrapple Gaston Bolaños. Fucking bargain bin Ilia Topuria, right? And Gaston Bolaños actually does fight a little bit like Ilia Topuria on top of being looking like him and being the same fucking height. Holy shit. Yeah, but you could tell the way he fights, not very good reach, does have somewhat of power, good boxing, but not much else. Whereas Young Lee does have more layers to his game. He's gonna out grapple him. He's got a longer reach, so he's gonna keep him on the outside when it matters. I'm gonna go with Young Lee wins money line and Gaston Bolaños. And my pick is Young Lee money line, and I'm gonna predict that Young Lee is gonna win by decision. I just think Gaston Bolaños is not very good. He's an 8-5 fighter with not very much to offer since being signing to the UFC, right? I think he's completely no. He has a win over someone who was like he was like favored to win, but then Gaston Bolaños did out fundamental him. But I forget who he was. That's kind of all I know about Gaston Bolaños, besides the fact that he looks like Ilia Topuria and the way he looks in fights. But yeah, next, Rafael Tobias versus Dr. Nurgazai. Dr. Nurgazai is not good. Rafael Tobias, good. There's not much else to say. I'm gonna say Rafael Tobias money line. Dr. Nurgazai had nothing to offer for fuck. What's his name? He got Ezekiel choked by this guy. Uh, he's like Mongolian, or he might be Kyrgyzstani, something like that. Sati Boldiev. He lost to Uran Sati Boldiev, right? And he didn't. He just got ran through. And Rafael Tobias runs through people. Uh, and that's what I think that's gonna happen. Rafael Tobias, and he has actually more experience. Not in the UFC, of course, but just more experience overall. 14-1 versus Dr. Nurgazai. Fuck. 10-2. Dr. Nurgazai, obviously, he's a solid fighter. I can see him maybe getting a really hard power shot up to the chin of Rafael Tobias, but I trust Tobias in the fact that he's defensively sound and will dish out power that Dr. Nurgazai can't do much about. I don't know about Dr. Nurgazai's chin. I don't know if it's good or not, which is why I'm picking money line, because I think Rafael Tobias has the potential to just take it to a decision where he just pushes him back the whole fight or knocks him out. So I'm going to say Rafael Tobias money line, and I'm going to say Rafael Tobias takes it by decision as my prediction. Next, we move on to the prelims. Cody Durden versus Nyamjargal Tumandebarel. Yes, I know how to pronounce his name. Yes, I was born with the ability to pronounce his name. Cody Durden, 34-year-old flyweight, not trusting that. At least I don't like trusting that. We could tell that he's a good fighter. At least he used to be a good fighter. He's somewhat crafty on the feet. He's got a long range. Funny enough, he's actually not as tall or the same height as Nyamjargal Tumandebarel. And his reach is significantly shorter. I actually didn't know that, which is actually plays into Nyamjargal Tumandebarel's hand, because Nyamjargal is actually a significantly better striker. I'd say a worse grappler, just because Cody Durden is very experienced in the grappling for so long, 17-9. He hasn't fought anyone crazy good, at least beat anyone crazy good as of recent, though. He's fought people good. He had nothing to offer for Joshua Van. Let's just say that. He had a few takedowns on Joshua Van, and Joshua Van is there to be taken down. I'm not saying his grappling is bad. I'm not saying his takedown defense is terrible. But I do think that Joshua Van is there to be taken down by someone as big as Cody Durden. Nyamjargal, equally big as Cody Durden. But he's not as washed. He's a quicker fighter, which is not much to say, actually. Cody Durden is pretty slow on the feet. But Nyamjargal is a quicker twitch fighter. And he's Asian, so I trust that his cardio is good. At least his heart is going to be there for his cardio. So I'm just going to say Nyamjargal Tumandebarel by, I'm going to say money line. I'm going to predict that he takes it by decision. I'm just scared of the fact that also Cody Durden has a bad chin, now that I think of it. At least as of recent, we kind of found out that Joshua Van isn't the most powerful guy, especially in his flurries. And Cody Durden took a lot of damage because of that. He didn't get dropped all that much, but he did get hit a lot. And Cody Durden's chin has been looking worse and worse as he ages. Nyamjargal, obviously, has pretty good power for a flyweight. So I'm just gonna say Nyamjargal Tumandebarel money line. I am a little scared of the grappling, but I think that Nyamjargal's got it. I think he understands that Cody Durden has that in his back pocket, and he's gonna work off of it. Next, we have Alberto Montez versus Ricky Turcios. Ricky Turcios is funny. That's all I can say about it. Ricky Turcios looked good against. He looked okay against, what's his name? Fuck, Raul Rosas Jr. When he caught him in a submission that Raul Rosas didn't tap from, but that's kind of all he did, and that's kind of all that he had to offer. And that's all he's had to offer in his past couple of fights. All right. Alberto Montez, of course, contender series, but he looks good. I don't think that Ricky Turcios right now can do as good as someone like Alberto Montez on the regional scene. And I think Alberto Montez is there to really give Ricky Tercios some problems. I can see Ricky Tercios goofing it up, but I think that Alberto Montez is composed enough as a prospect coming off of a good win from the Contender Series that he can actually do his best and really come out with a win this time around. And I think that Ricky Tercios was never really that fundamentally sound. He's a little bit like a Tim Elliott, but not as good. So I'm going to go with Alberto Montez money line over Ricky Tercios. I'm going to predict that he takes it by decision. Next, we have Cody Brundage versus Dante Johnson. I don't know why Cody Brundage is still here, but Cody Brundage is still here, man. I think it's because of the short notice, whatever. Dante Johnson, he's 5'8", but he was a heavyweight, and he's right now a middleweight, and he cuts a lot of weight. He's a ginormous dude for his size. And not a 5'8" like Torres Finney. He's more of a 5'8" like Michael Chandler. He's huge in muscle mass. Cody Brundage is actually pretty big for the division, but in a way that he is pretty chinny. And I think that Dante Johnson can chin Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage is scrappy, but he's not. His chin is not built for a scrap, if that makes any sense. And that's why he's been knocked out in his last couple of fights, and that's why he's just been losing and losing and losing. And he's taking more and more damage. And his best fight was against Bo Nickel. Of course, he beat what's his name? He slammed some guy, which is a pretty lucky way to win, to be honest. Zachary Reese, and Zachary Reese isn't all that good either. But Dante Johnson is a scary fucking guy, and he has very crazy power. And if you're in there for 15 minutes with Dante Johnson and you're Cody Brundage, good fucking luck, man. I'm going to take Dante Johnson by knockout as my prediction and my pick. I don't think that Cody Brundage is making it out of this, and I don't think that he is going to get re-signed. Next, we have Cody Garbrandt versus Long Zhao. Long Zhao, bottom of the barrel. Not exactly super bottom of the barrel, but close to the bottom of the barrel of the bantamweight division. Cody Garbrandt, however, former champ, and he is my fucking boy, and I will never, and I mean never, count him out. And this time around, I'm counting him in. Cody Garbrandt, welcome to the winning streak. He's still good. He lost to Raoni Barcelos, who, as it turns out, is one of the best fighters on earth. Right? And he got out-grappled by Raoni Barcelos, who is a wrestling champion. But Cody Garbrandt was beating him on the feet, if you were watching that fight. Cody Garbrandt is still rapid, man. Long Zhao is fast, but he's not Cody Garbrandt fast. And Cody Garbrandt has knockout power, and he's there to get knocked out, but I feel like he doesn't get knocked out by someone as bad as Long Zhao, right? And I don't think that he gets out grappled by Long Zhao, at least not that bad. I don't see how Long Zhao will beat Cody Garbrandt on the feet unless he gets really lucky and chins him. But I'm saying that Cody Garbrandt is responsible enough and smart enough as a fighter, former champion obviously, had to get there somewhere. I think he's good enough and smart enough. He knows himself enough at this point to know that he poses the biggest threat on the feet, and he's the most dangerous on the feet, and he's the better guy on the feet. I think that Cody Garbrandt will win this fight. And I'm saying Cody Garbrandt money line. I'm going to say Cody Garbrandt takes it by decision as my prediction. I trust in Cody Garbrandt. I think he's going to get a nice bounce back from this couple other fights and then retire, man. That's it for Cody Garbrandt. I think Cody Garbrandt is in that field of he's very good, and he's in that Said Nurmagomedov kind of area of the bantamweight division. He's not as bad as everyone. He's not as washed as everyone thinks he is. He's washed, obviously. But he's not that young, man. Let's just look at it like that. Next, we have the main card, and starting with Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno Ferreira. I'm saying not Bruno Ferreira. Fuck you. I'm saying Gregory Rodriguez takes it. I'm saying he takes it. And here's why. Gregory Rodriguez has fought the better competition. Bruno Ferreira has fought and had a scrap with Marvin Vettori. And obviously Marvin Vettori is not going to get knocked out. But it kind of does show that Bruno Ferreira does slow down when someone keeps it safe. And I think that Gregory Rodriguez has had enough experience from getting knocked out twice that he knows he knows how good he is. And he knows where his weaknesses are. He's an older guy who knows what he's capable of. And I think that Bruno Ferreira it's kind of a weird fight because this already happened before. But Gregory Rodriguez was significantly worse at the time. So was Bruno Ferreira, but Gregory Rodriguez is much more responsible now, right? Fuck, this shape of his head, man. It's funny. But Gregory Rodriguez is a more powerful fighter and he's quicker on the feet. The grappling is pretty even, so I'm not gonna take it really into account. But yeah, I think everywhere the fight goes, Gregory Rodriguez is either equal to or better than. What you know about game theory, that's called weak dominance. And I think that Gregory Rodriguez will weakly dominate this fight. I'm going to say Gregory Rodriguez moneyline takes it over Bruno Ferreira. I'm going to say that he takes it by knockout as my prediction. Next, we have Michael Johnson versus Drew Dober. I've gone back and forth in this fight. No pick. I love this fight. It's a good fight. Drew Dober, I could see him knocking out Michael Johnson for, obvious reasons. Michael Johnson, I could see him knocking out Drew Dober for less obvious reasons, but still obvious reasons. Michael Johnson is a very good fighter. He's very quick. He's rapid on the feet. I think he has the advantage over Drew Dober because Drew Dober's chin has gotten worse and worse. So is Michael Johnson's chin's not that good, and Drew Dober's power is still there. So they can trade. I mean, we could see a double knockout here, bro. Like, and Michael Johnson's lost to fighters worse than Drew Dober, like Clay Guida. And Drew Dober's lost to fighters worse than Michael Johnson, like everyone. But I'm going to just say this is a fight that can go either way. And if there's a 50-50 fight that you're going to have to watch regardless of who wins, it's going to be this fight. I'm going to predict that Michael Johnson wins this by knockout. Because Drew Dober's lost to a couple fighters, like 3-fight losing streak, and then barely beat Kyle Propolic, who's not that good. Michael Johnson just beat Daniel Zellhuber, who, as it turns out, wasn't really that good either. But he's been looking all right. He's on a winning streak. Michael Johnson has been looking better, but you never know with Drew Dober, and that's what I'm scared of. And I genuinely think that Drew Dober, I mean, his intangibles exist in any sport. And if this was not an intangible, I don't know what is. So, Michael Johnson by knockout, but I won't be surprised if Drew Dober takes it. No pick, though. Featured fight of the night, Rob Font versus Raul Rosas Jr. I'm taking Rob Font. Money line over Raul Rosas Jr. Rob Font is quicker on the feet. You really can't make an argument as to that Raul Rosas Jr. is a better fighter on the feet. So let's analyze the grappling. Raul Rosas Jr., very good jiu-jitsu. His takedowns are not all there. Rob Font can scramble out of a bad situation. Obviously, his grappling is complete dog shit, but he does get back up very well. And he got back up against Gene Matsumoto. Right? On the feet, Raul Rosas Jr. doesn't... Like, I think he gets actually pushed back and can't shoot takedowns anymore because Rob Font's going to piece him apart on the feet. That's what I think. I think that Rob Font is really just going to pour it on the feet. Really going to give him no respect just so the takedown doesn't come. And I think he's going to get a nice decision where he might lose one round. But besides that, I don't think that Raul Rosas Jr. has much against Rob Font besides a really improved takedown game, which I don't see coming out of someone who's this young. But you never know, honestly, because Raul Rosas Jr. has not been taking it seriously until very recently, where he's been sparring with Aljo and Marab. Who's texting me? Where's my phone? fucking floor. Ah. Oh shit, my mom called me. Fuck. Call her back in a bit. Raul Rosas Jr. Where was I? Yeah, his grappling may look improved, but we'll see. We'll see. But I don't think it is, and I trust in Rob Font much more than Raul Rosas Jr. Rob Font will not lose to Christian Rodriguez. That's all I'll say. So yeah, Rob Font money line. I'm gonna say he takes it by decision as my prediction. Next we have Caio Boihalio versus Rainier de Ridder. I'm gonna go with Rainier de Ridder over Caio Borralho. And I'm not confident in this pick whatsoever. But it's not a 5-rounder, I'll say that. And Rainier de Ridder does seem like a crafty fighter who understands that his weaknesses need to be improved upon. Caio Borralho, his weaknesses against his Imavov is not something you can really improve upon. He was just a slower fighter with like who couldn't take him down. You're not really going for takedowns against Rainier de Ridder unless you're really stupid or Bo Nickel. So, same thing. uh, but Rainier de Ridder is, I think he's fucking ginormous, right? Caio Borralho really needs to scrap to get in. He doesn't have very much power on the feet, and he's good all around, but he's not great. Whereas Rainier de Ridder is the type to capitalize off of someone like that, like a Robert Whittaker, for example. I don't think it's going to go to the ground, or at least I don't think Caio Borralho is going to initiate it. Whereas Rainier de Ridder, I think if it gets into the clinch, he's going to start kneeing him hard. Caio Borralho is going to, it's going to be tough for him. And once Rainier de Ridder really starts to, like, if he pulls guard or something and ends up on top, I could really see that happening. I think he can drag him down in a clinch just because he's so big and physical, right? People seem to forget how big this fucking dude is. But yeah, I could see Caio Borralho being just speed mogging Rainier de Ridder, darting in and out, and Rainier de Ridder having nothing against it. But I trust that Rainier de Ridder can win. He's done this multiple times. He beat Robert Whittaker. Caio Borralho's losing to Robert Whittaker. That's all I'll say. Rainier de Ridder, I'm going to say he takes it by crafty decision. My pick, however, is just Rainier de Ridder money line. And lastly, we have Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira. I don't think this is a super tough pick, but I am kind of scared. But I will also say that I'm pretty confident in Max Holloway winning this money line as my pick. I'm going to say he takes it by either late round TKO or decision. I'm just going to say decision. Charles Oliveira. Okay, I'm just going to say Max Holloway on the feet, night and day. Much faster, more power. Less power, but doesn't really matter all that much because he's just gonna go for like 1,000 punches in a combo. Max Holloway more volume, better cardio, better chin. So everything on the feet, Max Hollowayville. On the ground, including the takedowns, Charles Oliveira's gotten better takedowns, but Max Holloway, after watching his old fights, he really pushes on the head to get off the ground. It's very apparent that he hates being on the ground when someone initiates it. He's very good at getting out of a position to where he has to be on the ground. And I think that Max Holloway is there to not get taken down and to get back up over Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira, I could see him like really like wet blanketing Max Holloway if it gets to there. Yeah, like if Charles Oliveira has the opportunity to get Max Holloway on the ground, it's kind of over, at least for the whole round. But I trust Max Holloway in that he will put on the pressure as he always does. Very fast hands. Just fucking rapid, man. Max Holloway is also like, he's big now that he's a lightweight, so his grappling is going to be probably better. If it gets to the clinch, though, I'm a little scared because Max Holloway's clinch work is not his strongest. but he does get away from situations where it's up close a lot. And I think that Max Holloway is smart enough to not go for a clinch against someone like Charles Oliveira. I think that his rapid movement, Charles Oliveira, his movement is very basic, forwards, backwards, side to side if the opponent is going. Max Holloway is darting in and out, taking angles, looking, he does a lot on the feet. That looks good. His footwork is amazing, right? Cardio is amazing. I think that there's not much that Charles Oliveira can do. And once Charles Oliveira gets melted by a bunch of punches, I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Max Holloway, or for Charles Oliveira to try to outstrike Max Holloway. Because Charles doesn't have the power to knock out Max Holloway. At least he doesn't have the precision and the power combined. So I'm just going to go with Max Holloway by money line. I'm going to say he takes it by TKO over Charles Oliveira. So yeah, that was our UFC 326 card predictions and picks. Bye-bye.